So this is Dan of 𝗥𝗏𝗄𝐂𝐴𝐻. I have the good fortune today to have Venus on the channel.
Hi.
And she lives here in Metro Manila, and we thought we would bring her on here to talk about, from a Filipino's perspective, what the dating culture is like here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Venus has a couple businesses online. When you're in Manila, we recommend that you try her out. Venus, tell us a little bit about what your business is like.
Good thing is like Airbnb is like, if you book to them, you can actually look for like, tours and experiences that you can, not only in Manila, but also like, parts of like, for example, Cebu, Palawan. I have like, few tours, like maybe 8 or 9 here in like, Manila.
So your tours are in and around the Manila area, right?
Yeah, just Manila, like night market, and then like we're going through local. Of course, most of foreigners wants to be like, visit like local markets, and also they want to be, meet locals as well. Of course, in that area in Manila, there's no foreigner around, so it's more like very local. I have one beach tour as well, but they're actually in Puerto Galera, like in Mindoro.
Great.
Yeah.
So you take people around, you show them the cool spots, and teach them a little bit about the culture.
Yeah, of course. And then like if they want to like shop around, like they want to buy some cheap clothes as well, they can actually we can actually go to that area and ending the tour with the Chinatown, like
that's great.
just visit there. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. And so we'll put a link below to Venus's Airbnb experiences link, so you can book a tour if you'd like.
Yeah. Philippines is very for foreign, they feel at home. It's not, it's even though like you're, for example, for example, you're from Australia, because Australia is very near to Asia, so they can go to Vietnam, they can go to Malaysia, they can go to like, Indonesia, Thailand, or Philippines, and then they ended up coming here because they actually love here in Philippines. So it really depends, I think, for the foreigners, if they want to live in, Manila, or if they want to live in like, center of like, of Philippines, let me say Cebu, because Cebu is center of everywhere. If you're going to like Leyte, if you're going to Dumaguete, if you're going to Palawan or Iloilo, it's all like a boat or like, a few minutes flight from like, it's already there. Yeah. So Cebu is center of everywhere. So I've been to 𝐷𝗏𝗄𝐻 City, so that area is like, there's also like lots of expats there. So it's very few, when I actually been there, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so shocked. Like, why there's a lot of foreigners here? And it's very different from Manila. There's, of course, Manila is more like business district, right? So you can see a lot of foreigners. But that area is like lots of like, of old people. I mean, like old foreigners living there. And what I say is like, it's my first time there. It's like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like home in that area. And it was like, there's a lot of foreigners living there, like walking, like, just, wearing some t-shirt and like, slippers and walking around and, eating outside in the restaurants. And because it's cheap. So it's like, in 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝐻, it's very cheap. So like, they can just rent a 10,000 or 7,000 a month, house or room for like, if they actually have a partner, so you can just, because in provinces, it's cheaper to, rent a house. For example, if you're going to Laguna or Batangas, you can just find a house for like maybe, let me say like 10,000 a month, or like maybe
$200.
Yeah, for like a month for a house. So it's like it's already big. Like you can have a 1-bedroom, maybe like a a cellar, but like, So it's more, of course, Manila is centers. Like everything is here is expensive. Of course, like there's also like places that you can buy some cheaper food as well if you're going to like wet market. And of course, supermarkets, like, the price is kind of higher. Because of course, the rentals, the rentals, because the rentals is kind of expensive. So of course, that's why the houses or condominiums is also expensive. But it really depends what is like, like what is it, if you're actually living long term or like here in Manila, you can find like, cheaper places. But if you're going to like Santa Cruz, Manila, of course, in that area it's kind of cheaper. So, you can find some places there. But if you're choosing, of course, Quezon City, Makati, and like, BGC, it's expensive, like, places to like, to live, because everything is like, everything is near hospital, hotels, malls. So like, for example,
it's all new construction.
So like,
it's all like this.
Everything is there. Everything you need is there.
What is it called? Quezon?
Quezon City. This one is Quezon
Quezon
City. Yeah, we're
City.
in like Quezon City. So if you actually want to live in a, you know, like what is it called? Like very accessible to everything.
Yeah.
Of course, condominiums are like, you know, are a good idea.
Like
you
400 or
can just,
500 a month is out there around?
yeah. And then like you can just, you know, but you can actually find it cheaper, you know, for a smaller space. But if you actually, if you want to actually want to buy a property here as well, it's actually okay to buy a condo here in Philippines. They actually granted like 30% of foreigners to buy a property in like, you know, in here. The foreign people are like, you know, they're actually choosing Thailand or Philippines to like, you know, to retire. But what they, I'm not going to go there, but what they saying is like Philippines, it's more easy for talking with someone. I mean, like for other, like for English, like if we're going to market, if we're going to ride a taxi, if we're going to just ask someone outside. So it's more good for them, for example, foreigners to like, you know, to live here because everyone is speaking in English.
We see women dating older expats in the Philippines. How common is that in the Philippines? And do you think it's growing year to year, or is it stable? In other words, is there a small percentage of the female population that are dating older expats, or is it very common?
Okay, so yeah, it's very common here, like, you know, for Filipinas. Even like, you know, you can see here much in like, you know, in this area in Manila, but you can actually see it more in province area. For example, if you're going to Cebu, if you're going to Bacolod, or especially, but yeah, here in you know, Manila is more. Of course, it's actually, you know, it's okay now to like date like older, you know, ages, because I heard some, like for example, you're only 25 or 22, and then your partner is like on 60s. You know, it's like, it's already like, you know, it's already like, it's not a big issue now here, like, you know, in Philippines, that, you know, you're dating someone with like older, like, you know, the age gap is so big. It's normal now to, you know, date like younger to like, you know, older men here. Most of them are like, they're actually planning to go to like, you know, cheaper, you know, province to live and build house, something like that. That's why, you know, they want to live here in Philippines.
So another thing we read and hear about a lot is that in the Philippines, that it's almost impossible to get a divorce, or it's very expensive. It takes a really long time.
Yeah.
What is that true? And if so, what are your thoughts about that?
Okay, so I have a friend. I met her in you know, in Canadian school. So I study in Canadian school for like just hospitality, and then she was like, you know, got married with no, he's an American guy and living in Cebu. She's only at that time, I think 19 or 20 years old that time when they get married, and they have a kid, just one kid. I had 2 kids, I think. And then yeah, they didn't work out. So, you know, the guy still wants, you know, her to stay with him, blah blah blah. And then yeah, she ended up the relationship, you know. But you know that the relationship takes, I think they got annulled after I think 2 years.
2 years to get it annulled.
Because like, you know, the guys, you know, hesitant like for you know, because actually it's only like 6 months or less, or it depends how, like, you know, the guy is actually, for example, the guy will not go to like, you know, the court or whatever. So, you know, it will be more quick to process the, you know, the documents.
Oh, you mean if he doesn't contest it?
Yeah,
it goes
yeah,
faster.
something like that. It's more fast.
Any idea what it costs?
I think she spent maybe like 200,000 pesos or more than that.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that's $4,000, right?
So she found this, like, you know, a partner or like a foreign boyfriend.
A new guy.
So this guy, this you know, boyfriend of her, actually helped her to process everything. So he is the one accept the girl, and like, you know, and then they get engaged, and then like after that, you know, the process of the documents of this girl was like, you know, is fixed up. You know, it helps, you know, if you have like money, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So this foreign American guy, I actually met him. So it's like, he's really nice guy, you know. He's really good, and like his age is maybe in the 60s or like, you know. So it's like he's the one, like, you know, help for my friend to, you know, process all the documents and stuff, or the annulment.
We've also heard that dating a Filipina, they have an adultery law. It's enforced here, where the husband can have the even after they've been separated for maybe years even and don't even live together anymore,
oh yeah,
they can have a lover arrested or whatever.
yeah, you know what?
Is that true? And
Usually do here, you just need to go to if you both, like for example, you're separated and you're really done, you can just go to barangay, and then you just you both are you are actually asking for this agreement that we're done, and we're just on process of annulment or separation,
right.
And it's of course maybe some if you're still together and there's no what is it called, written paperwork or whatever, that
there's no final
agreement agreement that you actually, even though there's no annulment yet, if you just have agreement in in this maybe a barangay, what is it called, barangay hall, maybe in city hall, that okay, they're done and you're separated, and then it's okay with with both parties, right? But so if for example, if the guy, for example you, and then you're actually suing her because of this and that, but you have this girls have an agreement that okay, we're actually done this, blah blah blah. So it's not it's not
so if the couple agrees and they go down to the barangay and file the proper documents even before the annulment, then the police won't arrest.
They won't, because because there's an agreement that there's the annulment still in process and still like that. If you're crazy if you're suing your partner, you have an agreement that oh, we're done, we broke up, we're done, really done, and then you're trying to get this girl because maybe you want money or whatever, right? So it's kind of
that's what we read about online. The guy will go to the foreigner and say, give me money or I'll call the police.
Because here because here there's a lot of issues about those stuff, that this girl have have a partner, and then she or him is dating a foreign and stuff like that. So it's more difficult, right? But if you know that you're already ending the relationship, and then you're processing with all those, and then for example you and your maybe your boyfriend or your partners are saying that okay, we're done, but of course in the future you want to get married again, right? So if you want to get annulled, you can just process the papers, and you can just tell them okay, we're actually done, because there's a lot of people now that getting annulled now. Not only I have few friends already annulled. You need to have a good lawyer, be honest with the foreigners.
We've also heard that that some foreigners ask for a document from the barangay that says that the woman's not married.
We call it CENOMAR, Certificate of Non-Marriage. We call it that. You can get it if you want to get birth certificates or whatever, or marriage contract. You can just get to the PSA, and then it will take 2 days or maybe 1 week to get the CENOMAR. Even though the lady actually married before, what the women here is they just want help, finish their requirements and stuff like that. That's what they so they can end everything.
Move on with their life.
Yeah.
Some expats they recommend either being really close to the Filipinas family, or living away from them and just visiting from time to time. Any thoughts about what you think is better to maintain a relationship?
Some foreigners, they just want to be with to be with you, to grow with your family, or to have, because some foreigners as well, they want to have a kids, if they still in ages maybe 50 or 60, depends on them if they want still a kid, right?
Right.
So it really depends on the with the couple, or if the foreign. But for me as a Filipino, you need to be understanding to with this some other foreigners, because some foreigners, they just want to be with you, to be to grow a family with you, not to be with with full family. They can visit you, or they can just if there's gathering or celebration, it's okay. But living with them in one house, for me, is not acceptable. It's kind of it's the foreigner is actually feeding every one of your family. So for me, it's this one is for me is advice for the Filipinas who wants to have a foreign foreign boyfriend, or if they want to get married. Of course the guy will help your family, but it's not it's not like that. They will just they give some, but I'm not saying every foreigners are rich, it's some like retired people, or like who actually coming here in Philippines, they just have enough money. Of course, they need to pay for the rent, they need to pay for the food, they need to pay for like for gasoline, for if they actually have their own like bike or car. So for me, it was like it's easiest for like okay, you need to work as well, you need to help your partner to like earn money as well. It's not like, okay, you have a foreign boyfriend or like husband, and it was like he's only the one like providing you. Maybe some foreigners like to like just provide if he's really rich, right? Okay, it's fine. But for example, if the foreigner is like it's not that rich, even though the guy is actually providing you, giving you this, giving you like spoiling you a little bit or this and that, you need to be more like cautious. You need also to help the I mean not help, I mean like you work as well, like not like just you actually like depending with the foreigner. That's all I can say.
Yeah. The Western culture over the last 50 years, even longer, has become less. People live away from their parents in the West. And so they're used to having more alone time, if you will, with their spouse. That's why I think a lot of foreigners bring that up or expats bring that up on various channels. They like that alone time. From a Filipinist perspective, what would you say are some of the pros and cons that you or your friends talk about with dating an older foreign expat?
Okay, because here some of my friends also like I mean it's more like it's not about like money or stuff. It actually depends, because for example Filipinas now, they actually done with like Filipino. I'm not saying like every Filipino guy, right? But like basically like they want like matured people to be with them, like like they feel that they're they're safe, or they actually like I mean like, because what, here like in Philippines there are lots of young ages like get pregnant with like maybe 18 or 20s or maybe more less
That's
than
gonna
that.
be hard, yeah.
So like they're actually looking for a guy that they're stable, like I mean the life is stable. I'm not saying it's rich, but it's more like stable life. Filipinas are very intelligent with like choosing as well, like like a guy to be with them. It's really good to know the person first, then jump into like let's go to marriage. So it's more like
Yeah. We hear debates online about whether it's smarter to date a Filipino from the province or from the city or larger cities, medium-sized cities. What are your thoughts about that as a Filipino? Like, do you think those are just stereotypes, or is there some merit to that conversation?
No, it's not like that. Because like me, I was born here, but my parents, my mom is from Cebu. She's Cebuana, so I actually grew up there. So it's like basically if you're going to like Cebu or like other parts of provinces, and then they actually have a partner with a foreigner, and here as well, like if you're going to Makati and BGC, you've seen a lot like foreign couples, right? It's only like saying it's not like that. It's very unpractical, maybe what they're just saying. It's only gossips, maybe.
So would you say that most Filipinas that are single and are dating older expats are looking for like a traditional family with kids, or are they looking more for travel, or what? I know that's a total stereotype, but I'm sure it's some of both. But what are your thoughts in general about
in ages of like maybe like for younger foreign, and then have let me say 30s, and then this guy met a girl from like maybe not too far from his age, so they love to travel, they want to like but it's not like that. Even like older ages, and then they have like a partner with like maybe same ages with them. It's like it's really fine for like to be like to travel around. Of course, they actually new here in Philippines, so they want to travel not only in Philippines but also in other countries as well.
Right.
So I think it really depends how maybe if the guys have like good business and they want to travel in other countries as well. But if they just want to like have a stable like life here in Philippines and just live here, it really depends like how the couple will like talk about like will deal with that. But some are like they just want to just stay in province and like live there, or maybe like build a business, or maybe farm, because some foreigners do that. Like maybe they buy a land and then build a house as well, so they can have their own business there. So it really depends on the foreign as well, and the on the couple. It's not
So tell us, Venus, where do people meet others in the Philippines? Is it mostly online, or they meet people walking around, or what's the What's the dating culture like here in the Philippines and how they meet people?
Okay, so yeah, I have a guest, here in the Airbnb, and they only met like, at first, like, when the guy arrived here in like, Philippines. But usually now, I think, of course, if you heard about Filipino Cupid, yeah, or Asian dating sites.
Okay.
It's actually very popular with Filipinos, and also like it's more like, I'm not saying it's the number one like dating site in like in the web,
Right.
but most of like Filipino and foreign, they actually go to like Filipino Cupid or like I don't know, OkCupid, but it's more like online. Yeah, of course the online dating is more popular now.
Yeah, Chung and I met online on Tinder. So is Tinder one that people use here much?
I heard like younger people,
Right,
like
right.
maybe in 25 or up, or like more than that, and then Bumble. Because I have a guest and they just they just met online as well.
So you also have a YouTube channel, don't you?
Oh yeah,
And
but
we'll put a link to that below
yeah.
too.
It's only like if I'm not too lazy to do it, because I'm busy as well. So like
Yeah, with your other businesses.
Yeah.
Venus, it's been a pleasure hearing about the Philippines and and getting the Filipino view on it. So we really want to thank you for coming on the channel.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And make sure when you're in Manila to click the link below and check out her Airbnb experience, and check out her YouTube channel too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for being on the channel.
Bye.
Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of retired cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.